Everyone, Friday, April 3rd. Wanted to post a quick video of some things that I thought might be helpful. And these are um, drawn actually out of, I think, just a lot of conversations I've had with leaders in the last 48 hours. Um, I love the work I do, and because I practice therapy, but also do executive coaching, my worlds of working with a lot of church leaders, working with a lot of leaders in different industries are kind of coming together, and lots of people are struggling. And they're struggling not only um, with themselves, but they're struggling with the people that they're leading, So the question becomes, how do I not only take care of myself, but how do I take care of all these leaders that I'm trying to um, manage and work with as things seem to be kind of falling apart around us, and we don't really know how long this is going to go. And so I came up with, there's lots of things we could talk about, but 5 things that just kind of emerged for me out of the conversations. If I'm working with leaders and I'm asking them and maybe coming alongside them and saying, hey, here's some things you could focus on. Here's what came to mind. I just want to throw them out to you, see what you think. Love to get some feedback. Also, you might have some great ideas, or not also you do. So let's maybe have an ongoing dialogue. And these are things I'm going to continue to talk to my leaders about and those that I'm working with and coaching. Got some notes, usually on top of my head, but can look at a couple of things. One is, I think as a leader, it's important to acknowledge the uncertainty of the situation right now, and that we're in a season of kind of disorientation. And as a leader, you can do that without panicking, right? In a leadership position, you don't want to panic, right? Because you as a leader, the tone you set, the way that you manage your anxiety will often dictate the tone for the rest of the organization. So as a leader, you want to acknowledge anxiety by, one, not panicking, but being smart and being wise, being intelligent. I've spoken with so many leaders who were out actually ahead of this COVID-19 thing, that were already assessing the situation back in January. And people thought they were crazy, right? But they weren't panicking. They were being wise and intelligent. And now a lot of people are playing catch up and they're panicking, right? So as a leader, we want to, at the front of an organization, whatever organization that is, acknowledge the uncertainty in a wise way. Don't panic about it. Number 2, I think when you're dealing with people, you want to address the underlying feelings they have and not just focus on their behavior. So for example, if you're working with someone and their anxiety is super high, it'd be easy to focus on the anxiety and just deal with that. Or if they're angry about something, or they seem down and depressed and kind of listless, you could just focus on that, and that won't take you very far. You want to, if you have time, and this is hard, but as a leader, come alongside them and go to the core and really try to find out what's driving it, what's the deeper issue. So for a lot of people right now, the anxiety that they're seeing in organizations with the leaders they're working with is, it's a feeling deep down of a loss of control for them, feeling really powerless, feeling like whatever they do right now as leaders is not going to be good enough, and they're trying to keep a business or organization afloat. But if you can deal with the root feeling and emotion, then that's a deeper discussion that I think will create great benefit. And when you can deal with the deeper root feeling and emotion, you know what you can work on and maybe how to heal that and what to kind of fix and to get help around. So I want to focus on those feelings rather than just the behavior. Focus on the underlying feelings, and then you can address the behavior and figure out ways to manage that, if that makes sense. Because in leadership, it's our inner that drives the outer, right? Our inner life, whatever you want to call it, consciousness, but the inner life that we foster drives our actions. Lots of people don't think about that. They think more in leadership, it's just our actions, right? And their inner life is a mess. But in a time like this, it's our inner life, the way we foster our inner life, foster our inner emotions, our sense of self, that will drive our outer behavior in healthy ways, or it may drive it in unhealthy ways. So address the core issues. Number 3, I think you want to create a space for people in an organization to just deal with emotions. Meaning, if I'm having a conversation with a leader, or I'm working with someone who's, maybe you're in a SVP position, you're working with someone who's in a VP position, AVP, or you're a head pastor of a church and you're working with an elder, for example, or another staff member. Create space in the conversation to let them just have their emotions and have their feeling. Don't try to damp that down. You don't want them out of control and being disastrous and causing problems, but I think there's lots of room to sit down with someone and say, hey, let's just create space. I know that promotion that you're going to get, you're not going to get right now because of finances and the situation. And that's a huge loss. And so let's just sit with that loss and talk about that loss rather than just trying to fix the loss of that promotion, right? Or maybe you're dealing with a leader who had a lot of plans on the calendar of some important initiatives they were going to drive, right? And those things are not going to happen. And so just sit with them and creating space for them. That will be way more productive than trying to damp that down and to try to move forward. So you want to create some space for grief, space for the emotions of the anxiety. Because when we acknowledge the emotions and it takes the power out of them and we create space for them, some healthy things can come of that. Number 4, you want to help a leader focus on a daily habit they can do, right? Because it's habits that anchor us to our routines, and our routine anchors us to our schedule. And when we have that foundation in place, we can do the work that we need to do. So if I'm working with someone, I may just ask them, hey, what's really important that you do every day? And it might be going for a walk. So how do you support them just going for a walk every day? Or maybe the morning routine is getting on a phone call with you every morning over a cup of coffee. Okay, maybe we need to do that, have some kind of habit. And so find out a habit that a leader can really foster right now that will drive their schedule, drive their routines, and get them to focus on the work they need to do. I know for me right now, I have lots of habits I like, but one that I've tried to do every morning is just make my bed when I get up. It's a sense of just accomplishing something, which may seem silly to people. There's lots of good research on that though. And I'm gonna go for a run later, anchoring myself to that helps me stay focused. So talk about habits with your organization. 5, practice self-care. I won't get into lots of details here, but physical, emotional, mental, spiritual self-care. What are the things that you can do to take care of yourself right now? Because the ability to take care of yourself, the ramifications of that will determine how you show up for the people that you're leading. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be in a good place. You're not going to be healthy, and the people around you are going to suffer. You're not going to be engaged. You're not going to be present. So think about self-care, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And then, as an organization, you have an overall vision that you've probably already created, some kind of mission statement, some kind of purpose written. More than ever, it's important to focus on that purpose as a guiding principle that we're going to stay anchored to. All the stuff that I've just mentioned, the purpose of that is to drive us towards what we were already set out to do. And some organizations may not have a clear purpose or vision, or right now it's being reframed and it's a mess. And some beautiful things actually may come out of this time of organizations thinking more clear about who they need to be and who they want to be. So acknowledge uncertainty, deal with underlying emotions, because inner life drives outer life, right? Inner stuff drives outer actions. Create space for those emotions, take the power out of it, and to address as a leader. Focus on habits because they drive schedule and routines and help us focus on the work we need to do. And then keep coming back to the mission that you have and the purpose you have. And if it needs to be tinkered with and you need to pivot, you need to do that. Some good conversation. So that's what I'm thinking about right now, just based on phone calls I've had all morning and stuff that I'm moving into. And I'll try to think through it in a more coherent way as I move forward. But hopefully that helps. And if you're listening out there and you just, I don't know what my own capacity is at the moment, but I'm more than happy to try to talk to people via email or text or phone calls or Zoom if you're a leader out there and you're struggling and you would just like someone to walk through some things with. So that's it. Have a good Friday. Talk to you later.